Hi everyone. So this video is about encouraging students to speak, communicate. My name's Colleen Rogers, and I am working towards a profesorado universitario con especialidad en el idioma inglés at Universidad Panamericana. So think about how difficult an awkward situation can be. Some key people are easily motivated to speak and others aren't. So encouraging students to speak can be overwhelming. There are so many factors that can be considered when we are going to assess a learner's overall speaking performance. So as a teacher, you have to consider the anxiety speaking in public can cause. Think about cultural inhibitions and various degrees of personalities. For me, it's a difficult task. So where do we start? Think about where we open the conversation and close the conversation. Conversations don't fall out of the sky, so how do I get started? We as teachers have to start teaching to assist in initiating or ending conversations. And some examples are phrases like, "Glad it's finally raining, aren't you?" to get them started. Or get it ended with, "So it was great seeing you." Some of the classroom activities I use are role play using prompts or generate topics through peer conversation. This is one of the competencies behind discourse competence. Think about the appropriate responses. In order to keep a conversation going, there are two roles, a speaker and a listener. Adjacency pairs are units of conversation that contains an exchange of one turn each by two speakers. So think about it. If I say, "Nice dress," you have to respond by saying, "Thanks, I got it at Macy's." So that's a compliment. Think about examples like complaints, greetings, invitations. Those are all examples of situations where students need to be able to learn appropriate responses. Some of the classroom activities, once again, I use are role play using prompts or generate topics through peer conversation. Turn-taking skills are crucial in order to continue a conversation. Discourse competence requires the ability to perform the turns. This includes initiating, entering, interrupting, checking, and confirming within a conversation. Classroom activities that I use are fluency conversational activities, so just keep them going, give them free speech conversation activities, or encourage them to speak and then ask in order to someone else reply and take their own turn. Topic management. Okay, so I can't give a senior student in high school, a topic that might require advanced knowledge or something that will not spark their interest. So in order to select the appropriate topic, it's crucial to consider a comfortable, reassuring environment. It's the first step in gathering interest to speak. Therefore, the ability to introduce and transition among topics throughout a conversation is a valuable asset for any speaker, native or not. Error management. This is a really tough role. Hi, this is encouraging students to speak. My name's Colleen Rogers, and I'm working towards a degree at Universidad Panamericana. So encouraging students to speak can be an overwhelming task. At least for me it is. There are several factors that we can consider that may take effect on a learner's overall speaking performance. And as a teacher, our role is to consider the anxiety that speaking in public can cause, cultural inhibitions, and various degrees of personalities. In order to manage interactions appropriately and acquire the competence of discourse, we must teach our students openings and closings. Conversations don't fall out of the sky, and openings and closings are ritualized statements that will assist in initiating or ending conversations. For example, in order to start a conversation, I could say, "Glad it's finally raining, aren't you?" And in order to end a conversation, "So it was great seeing you." Some of the classroom activities that I implement are role play using prompts or generating topics through peer conversation. Additionally, in order to manage an interaction, appropriate responses are required according to context. A conversation requires at least two roles, definitely. It needs a speaker and a listener. There can be more than one. Adjacency pairs are units of conversation that contain an exchange of one turn each by two speakers. So therefore, for example, if I say, "Nice dress," that immediately prompts you to reply with a, "Thanks, I got it at Macy's," or "This old thing?" Some of these can also include complaints, greetings, and invitations. Once again, two of the activities that I use are role play, using prompts, and generating topics through peer conversation. Additionally, turn taking is essential to be able to continue a conversation. Remember that you need to be able to initiate a conversation, enter an ongoing conversation, interrupt an ongoing conversation or the speaker, checking and confirming within a conversation. Some of the classroom activities that I've used are fluency conversational activities, and then such as speak and then ask a question. Topic management is crucial. We must choose topics that will introduce an area of interest for the listener and the speaker. Therefore, students will generate much more higher content knowledge and an interest to participate in the activity. Error management. This is a tough role as a teacher and very sensitive. Feedback needs to be constructive criticism, negative or positive, but in order to create an improvement. Usually this is used post-production, and speakers will keep it in mind to correct previous mistakes in future speaking. A teacher must decide if a mistake will provide useful feedback before providing it. Think about, is the error a systematic error? Is it because they really lack knowledge regarding the topic or the skill? Or is it something caused by laziness, distraction, or exhaustion? A teacher must learn error correction strategies to make feedback effective. In error response, the expectation must be a balance between fluency and accuracy, trying not to distract the learner's intention to communicate. How to encourage students to speak? Okay, so 4 guidelines. Encourage learners to interact, provide a comfortable atmosphere, encourage student interdependence. They can do it on their own with a peer. Definitely cooperative learning, idea sharing, and they also encourage assistance and assessment between peers. Controlled and guided practice. Now this is crucial because free speaking activities and guided activities are very different. However, they encourage practicing various skills. Always review new vocabulary or grammar structure that you want to make sure is included in the activity. Review some expressions, and always model some sentences. Additionally, provide communicative speaking activities. Make sure that there's purposeful, meaningful interactions, that the real information is within the activity so that they are encouraged to speak about it, and make sure that they bridge informational and opinion gaps amongst the conversation. A teacher always has to create a carefully planned activity. Make sure you provide proper topics. You can display pictures to model the activity, and always provide purpose through role play or text. Now, for free speaking activities, there are some guidelines that we have to follow. Before the lesson, make sure that you decide on a lesson objective. Predict that the way the students might interpret the activity. Make sure you keep a close eye on your time management and plan each activity with a time purpose in mind. Include a list of materials and elaborate proper instructions that all students can understand. During the lesson, we want to motivate students to maintain interest in the activity. Also, give them reminders of structure that they need to follow throughout the activity. Present the learning objectives. Again, reassure them that there is a specific time designed for each activity. Make sure that this is a process-based activity and not product-based. Monitor their activity. And then finally, assess your own activity and the student's performance. After the lesson, make sure you provide immediate feedback regarding students' communication skills. Always try to focus on the positive, and then later you can move on to individual feedback to provide further criticism, constructive criticism. So that's the end of our presentation. Thanks again for listening, and I hope that your students are encouraged to speak.